Happy Fun Friday. We are here with the Unblinded Huddle, and I hear Fernando, you are live and you are moving somewhere. What's up, brother?
I am live, and yes, I was fidgeting. What's up, Sean? Love that bay, love that view, and I love those police officer glasses you got going on.
So, yes, it has been a beautiful day. It is July 3rd, and we are born free. And our life choices are magic, like everything in play. Beautiful day, and got some, fun and positive news. So let's start first with positive news. I said it yesterday on The Real Raw, and I wish ill on no one ever, but I do appreciate justice, fairness, and what is right. Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested yesterday. Many of you have probably heard that already, in case you haven't. And that is Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator in the trafficking of children and the abuse of children, and that it was a horrific miscarriage of justice what happened in that entire process, all the way through with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. And she was arrested in New Hampshire, appropriately charged across the board, and I am very confident that justice will be done. And my joy is not in her punishment. My joy is not in the fact that this is obviously a woman who engaged in massive, insane cries for help that were unbelievably painful and destructive to the lives of so many. But it's the fact that the system can work and is working finally in this situation. So yeah, that is what is present in the Ghislaine Maxwell front. What I'm also present to, and I don't, no, I certainly didn't mention this yet. We had a little bit of fun talking about sharks and getting bumped by sharks. About 10 hours after the shark bumping, when I was bumped by a shark yesterday morning, a shark was caught. That was, and there's a video I posted on my Facebook. We'll get up in the Unblinded Facebook, and it was released, but it was somewhere north of a 7-foot shark. They didn't actually measure it, and there was some questions about whether it was a bull or a tiger, and it was right in that area where I had been surfing. So yeah, that was not nothing, Fernando. And Fernando, you were out in those waters as well. So let's say you is, let's call it an 8-foot shark for the sake of average. That was, running around out there. How was that landing for you when you were out of the sandbar just a couple of days ago?
I'm just shaking my head that this is so comical to you. That I love that it's comical to you. That is what's present for me, and what's present for me is I'm excited for this huddle, a day of remembrance. I love the news you shared. That is really good news, and I'm excited for our guest that we're going to bring on in a few minutes. But back to you.
We're going to go there 1 minute. So yeah, and I did a video this morning at sunrise on the question of fear and distortion. And we're here to co-create breakthroughs and dreams, crush fear and distortion, and how fear and distortion works, like the math of fear, like the irrational and the illogical. So yeah, today I'll be back surfing, and I will be doing it with love in my heart. My nervous system might lie to me a little bit and distort reality some, but yes, we will be out there and having fun. And certainly, everything that we do in life has some degree of risk. But when there's not been a shark attack in Long Beach Island in 104 years, and yet there's 500 corona cases or deaths per day from corona in the United States, and 50,000+ cases, and people are, obviously have all kinds of risks and challenges occur. Our ability to crush fear and distortion has to do with bringing reality back when our nervous system lies to us and makes things up. So with that said, happy Fun Friday. And yes, we live in a free nation that is not equal for all, for sure, but we are working each and every day to bring awareness to realities, and also to be thankful that we do have the freedoms that we enjoy. And on a day when in China people are being arrested for having bumper stickers that say, free Hong Kong, the challenges we have are massive, but I am grateful for the freedoms that we do have, and I'm very, very present to them, that we can say what we believe, that we can pour our hearts out, and we could do so freely. And there's many places in the world that cannot occur right now in 2020, as has been the historical reality of our world. So, Fernando, what do we got? Who's here? And let's rock and roll, brother.
Mr. Callaghy, I am pumped for many reasons, and what's on my heart is that this works. I am so grateful for Courtney Epps for being, original source to Crystal Robinson, who was here last week, who in a text message called me Spoonie, and I was like, does that have anything to do with cuddling? And she's like, no, it doesn't. It has to do with a fellow leader and human in my life known as Teresa Weatherspoon. And I'm honored to say that she is our guest here today. And being the humble leader that she is, her bio reflects, which is concise, to the point, humbling, because she is so much more in the world
Let
than.
me correct this. Straight up icon. Like straight up icon, like legend. Straight up icon and legend in the world of professional sports. So please, Fernando, continue.
That and more. And what's incredible is that the way she shows up for me, because I'm sure all of you know that sports analogies and like knowledge of is, low compared to Sean's. She shows up to me as a leader, as someone who is empowering the future generations, as someone who is battling some of the largest conversations on the planet. And icon to me is someone who's transcended what she acquired her fame with. So here's her biography. Team, please support in bringing Teresa Weatherspoon on, as she is a former WNBA player for the New York Liberty, two-time Olympian, and recently inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. So, Unblinded Movement, please help us in introducing Teresa Weatherspoon.
Miss Teresa Weatherspoon, welcome, and I am so honored and grateful that you are here today. How are you?
I'm awesome. How about you? Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. So as we enter, this July 3rd, and we talk about issues of life and love and freedom, our nation also faces extraordinary challenges and complexities. What's on your heart, and what's present for you today?
That's such an amazing question because of the particular time. And I think the one thing that has been so valuable through it all is the one skill that we have that sometimes we don't use, which is it's extremely valuable to the lives of other people, and that's being able to listen. Being able to listen to what others are going through, and then finding ways that you can be of help. And I think as of right now, we kind of got ears of people. And when you have that, you feel like you can pour your heart out. You can pour out what you feel, and maybe there can be some solutions. But at the same time, there's one word that I believe that's so important as well, and that's that big word called love. Sometimes we forget how to do that and how important it really is, because at the end of the day, genuine love is what everybody wants.
Yeah. Well, Teresa, thank you so much. And I was just listening to a couple of studies this morning, and there was a recent study that literally shows the objective value of kindness and the objective attraction level of kindness. So if people are genuinely kind, like how valuable that is, not only to how they feel, but how everyone else feels, and how it impacts productivity and acceleration. And so, yeah, love. I mean, love is present. And Teresa, your life, and again, forgive me for just saying that you're an icon athletically, you transcend sport, and the truly legendary figures of the sports world, folks like Muhammad Ali, like what you're doing in the world, are people that transcend just the athletic field and become thought leaders, use their immense power of influence and access to make great things happen. And I want to just be really clear on this, or have a better understanding for everybody. What is it that you currently do, and what's your relationship with the NBA been?
Yes, I am the player developing coach with the New Orleans Pelicans. It's an amazing position to have, because you have an amazing relationship with the guys that's kind of different than the head coach or assistant coach may have. Because the one thing that's important is for you to gain their trust, especially being a female in what they seem or what they deem to be a male-dominated sport. I have not had any issues at all, because they understand that I played the sport, understand the sport. But what they love the most is just be able to help me grow. Just allow me to be able to grow. And that's my daily duty. I believe every day that I enter into the arena, each player to me is an empty vessel, and I must fill the vessel every day. It's not all the time about your knowledge. It's what you bring, the energy, just wanting to know how they feel or what they're going through. And you gain their trust. When you gain their trust, they'll run through a wall for you. And every day, that's what it's about for me, to help each guy master their craft. We don't come into the arena just to come into the arena. My goal for them is every day have a goal of what you're going to master. And when we walk in, that's what we do. We master our goals, and we walk out, we feel as if we have accomplished something.
Awesome. And I have a relationship with math. So since I'm a little kid, I used to study baseball cards and things. So just to put this in perspective, you have been recognized as one of the greatest women to ever play the sport of basketball, right? And you've coached the greatest women players as well, and now you're coaching men at the highest level. So you are a point. I think it's something like this. You're a 0.00001%er as a player. I think that is accurate for how many women play basketball and what level you achieve, right? It's beyond extraordinary. Like, more people, you'd have a better chance of winning the lottery twice than you would of being Teresa Weatherspoon, right, as a player, right? So let's just so that lands for people. You probably have a better chance of being struck by lightning and winning the lottery twice, right? More people have that happen than what you achieved, number one. Number two, you stack on top of that to cross the gender boundary lines and to be coaching men in the NBA. Like, do you ever reflect on what you've accomplished and realize how unbelievably unique you are on the planet? Not pridefully, but just faction. Like, is that ever present for you? Has anybody ever broken it down that way mathematically? Like, is that do you ever think that way, feel that way?
I've never heard it like that before, Sean. And actually, I never played this game for any type of accolades. I never played this game because of that. I played this game because, one, I had a gift, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and it was going to help me, because coming from humble beginnings, it was going to help me to get a scholarship to be able to move forward in this game. I never thought that any of this was going to happen for me because I never played the game for this. Am I overwhelmed by it sometimes? Yes, it's overwhelming, because I couldn't have done it without the players that I've had an opportunity to play with, the experiences I've had with the players I've had to play with all over the world. And being a part of the NBA, and everyone sees that as a story. I don't see it as a huge story, because I'm standing in my rightful place. I didn't feel like I had to prove anything to anyone. It's a matter of me standing in my rightful place and opening doors for others to come, because there's so much knowledge that we can give too. And it's now being recognized that we have knowledge to be able to give to whomever it might be, whether it's male or female. Because at the end of the day, this is the way I see it. When I'm competing against a guy, of course you see female and of course you see male. But at the end of the day, to me, as an athlete, it's made the best athlete win. And that's the approach to it to me. And I just want to every day be a great leader, be a great motivator, and make sure that those young men and the young women that I coach as well embrace their role, embrace what they bring, embrace their uniqueness, and then from there, the success that may come.
Teresa, your leadership, your power, your fire, your inspiration, your brilliance is present. It just resonates. Thank you for sharing that. And when you look at, and I think this is so helpful for people, because I am incredibly passionate, if not obsessed, with the concept of mastery and believing that your life and people like you represent who've achieved such a high level of unique, mathematical mastery, just the pinnacle of the pinnacle of the pinnacle, that the differentials are exponential, right? So it's you don't break this door open as a woman coaching in the NBA unless you achieve what you achieved on the basketball court. right? So like your unique levels of mastery open just different doors, right? And now you have other barriers that exist as a woman, as a a woman of color, like so like, there's all kinds of complex things going on.
Yes.
But what would so just for the benefit of everyone, we'll come to the second point in a moment, but for the benefit of everyone, from your heart, I have no idea what the answer to this question is going to be. What percentage of, if you had to like just like your gut reaction, what percentage of what you achieved do you think were the blessings that you had genetically, right? Because you were gifted, as you said,
Yes.
versus what percentage was your work ethic and intensity? So let's go this way. Let's say that your work ethic was just average, right? It
Yes.
wasn't low. As an athlete, it was average. What do you think your basketball career would look like? Maybe that's a better way to ask it. Like where would you have been? And then how much of what you achieved at the highest level is because of work ethic? And I know we're crediting your coaches, we're crediting your teammates, yes. And you had to like develop all of those things, yourself as a leader, yourself as understanding how to like, play with others and pass and decision making and all the hours and the effort. If it was average, where do you think you would have been versus where you got to? So we can help people not discount you, because people could discount your message
Yes.
as just a genetically gifted, unbelievable human. Yeah, please.
Sean, there was not a time that I wasn't thinking that someone was working and I wasn't. Absolutely not going to happen. The work ethic is super important. I could have been the most talented athlete in the world, but if I didn't put the work into it, I would have never accomplished these things. Absolutely never. I'm going to go 50-50. I'm going to go 50-50. But when it comes to the work ethic, I wanted to be the best at it. I didn't want anyone to outwork me. I never wanted to walk into the arena and someone looked in better shape than me. My message to every one of my teammates was this: when you come to camp, you don't come to camp looking to get in shape. You come into camp to get better shape. It is, we're pushing to be the greatest, because the first thing that we want to do is to be conditioned. The body must be conditioned. I don't care how gifted you are. If the body isn't conditioned and gone through that hard work, it's not going to work anyway. It's not going to accomplish what it should. So it's invaluable. It's valuable to have that work ethic to be as gifted or be as successful as you want to be. And I think that's a message. It's a message of how you carry yourself. And you talk about leadership and being a leader. That better be one thing that you do every single day, is show how hard work really matters. Because being up there, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I think and just to really bring this home, I'm curious. So I think you clearly would have been a high school starter if you had average work ethic. We can agree on that, right? Like you were.
I agree.
Yep. Probably would have been a Division I scholarship player with just average work ethic. That's probably fair too, right?
Yes.
Now it's going to get more interesting as we go up the ladder. Do you think you would have made it to the WNBA with average work ethic? Just getting drafted. If you had all the way through high school and college just had average work ethic, do you think you were gifted enough to have gotten there just on your gifts?
I'm going to answer this honestly.
Yeah.
And I would tell you, yes, I would have gotten there, but I wouldn't have been successful. Right. I would have gotten there, but I wouldn't have been successful.
So
you're talking about
you're
talking about going from high school to really learning the game, understanding the game, to playing collegiately, and now you're starting to feel yourself and grow in the game. Then you're going to the professional level. Oh, you're in a cage full of lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my!
I love it. So you probably would not have been an all-star. Right? Do you think you probably, if you had average work ethic, you're not an all-star? Is that fair?
That's fair. There's no way that I would have been an all-star. No way. No way I would have accomplished any of these things that have been a part of my life thus far.
Right. And you're not a Hall of Famer. And if you're not an all-star and Hall of Famer, then you probably don't become an NBA coach. You're not talking about business accomplishments, creating your own clothing line. Like those things don't happen. Is that fair?
Well, Sean, how do you teach work ethic if you don't know anything about it?
Yeah.
How do you teach it and you have no idea of how to work? And trust me, guys or girls, whoever it is you're coaching, they're going to see right through that.
Yeah.
When you walk in, they're going to see everything that you know immediately. They're going to hear it when you open your mouth. They're going to know that you come a little late, you leave a little early. They're going to see every little thing that you do. But if you work and you know about work ethic, you can teach it.
Awesome. And Teresa, you're taking this now to, I think, like, right, the business world. And where is your heart and head related to business? Is that something you want to share or talk about?
Absolutely. It's been, you want to kind of think about things when your name is on fire, your feet are in the fire. You want to kind of get things up and rolling for you. So I did think about being a WNBA player, and I thought about an athletic line. And I started one on my own. It's called Finisher Apparel, Finisher Athleisure line. And it's a message behind it, a huge message, because growing up, I was always told when you start something, there's a tremendous amount of work that we just spoke about in between. And at the end, you better finish it. Start, work, finish. And that's a message for not just a basketball player or a sports figure. That's a message for anything that we do in life. When you start put some work into it. Put all your efforts into it, and knowing that it's bigger than you. It's you wanting to do something to bring along the next person. And as you're doing it, make sure you finish it, but finish everything together with whoever you might be working with. So yes, business ventures are something that's very important to me with the Finish Apparel line that I'm really trying to push and get up and running.
Awesome. And so what's your ultimate dream, for this, it's Finishers Apparel line. Is that right, Teresa?
Yes, of course. I would love for it to be up and running, because it would have great meaning for all people. And that's what it's about for me, is to share a lot of love, especially with what the line means. And the line means, are you a finisher? Can you finish everything that you do? And it's a message that you would carry as you wear it. It will be a message. But what I think, Sean, about what I do is every day, this is what I wish, is that everything that I touch, every word that I say, that it's meaningful. And that's the most important thing for me, is everything I say, everything I do, that it's meaningful and it's impactful in the lives of other people, that I touch the lives of other people, because that's the most important thing. Even as a player, those are the things that I thought about, because playing in the WNBA, nobody even trusted or believed in it. But we understood the magnitude of this league. We knew what we had to do every single day, and we knew that it was bigger than us. So even these things that I do, the things that I say, and my movement, I understand it's bigger than me. It's for the next person to come.
Yeah. Well, and I want to thank you. I think that, I have two daughters that have grown up as athletes. My daughters are 16 and 18. And the existence and presence of the WNBA and the existence and presence of the United States women's soccer team were two such phenomenally iconic examples from my daughters that were so different than a sister who's an athlete growing up. She didn't have those models, in place in any meaningful way. And so what has begun to happen, what you've done, the trails you're blazing, as an athlete, a business person, a leader, a coach, transcending gender lines, unbelievable. And I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then, final to round it home, there's a lot happening, and, I don't want to go to any places you don't want to go, but if you were to share your life's journey to the extent you want to, and whatever, to have people become more present to the realities of race and gender in our world, from start to finish of your life, or not at all, the microphone is yours. Whatever is on your heart to share that could open all that, and any message you want to share.
Well, Sean, if I could share it in a quick story, and because I've had it rough, and I'm an open book, and I want everyone to read these chapters and understand that each chapter can be helpful and impactful to the lives of other people. But there's a short story that I always use when I'm talking to our young people. And it's really crazy, Sean, and you're probably going to say, what is this girl talking about? And I normally talk about three frogs, simply just three frogs, Sean. And I talk about these three frogs who were great friends, but they were surrounded around a hole, and up at the top of the hole, there's a bunch of haters at the top of the hole. And as they're trying to jump, and these frogs are trying to jump to get to the top of the hole, but they were having a difficult time, and the haters up top were saying, it's impossible, why don't you stop? But one frog dies out and can't get to the top. The other two keeps jumping. They keep jumping, trying to get to the top, and the haters are still saying, I don't know why you're trying. You don't belong. We don't need you. Second frog dies out. It was too difficult for me. Couldn't make it. Well, the third frog keeps jumping, keeps jumping. The haters at the top still saying, why don't you stop and die out with the other two? You don't belong. We don't need you. We don't need you. Stop. Well, that frog keeps jumping. And Sean, all of a sudden, bing, that frog gets to the top of the hole. And the haters are like, oh, my God. How did you get to the top? This is impossible. So they keep talking to the frog. Well, Sean, that frog was deaf. He made it to the top by having deaf ears and not listening to what people will say about who he was or what he couldn't do and what he couldn't accomplish. It's all about understanding the value and the importance of who you are. Turn deaf ears to the naysayers and to the negativity. That's what I had to do growing up. And I used that example with 3 frogs.
Ms. Teresa Witherspoon, I am so thankful you're here. There's nothing that can possibly be added to that. Your leadership, your love, your overcoming is present. Everybody have happy 4th of July, and may our freedoms be equal and just and ever expanding in our nation. And thank you. And Chaz, take us out. Let's have a little pivot with No Surrender by Bruce Springsteen. Thank you to Teresa Witherspoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.